Hey everybody, I just want to reach out and ask everybody a question about whether or not you're using Hermode tuning or any of the alternate tunings in Logic. Now, just to give you a little brief explanation of what this is, just so, or in case you're wondering or have questions about it, this is the ability for Logic to change how the tuning happens with its MIDI tracks. Now, if you think about the history of musical instruments, the piano is a great example of an instrument which, in order to get it to be able to play in all different key signatures, used a compromise system called equal tempered tuning, which is really the standard default for most digital audio workstations. This means that everything's slightly out of tune in order to make the most wide range of tunings available. Things like pianos use this, guitars with frets use this, synthesizers typically use this, but things like voice or strings, brass, anything where you can change the tuning with just a little slip of the finger or through your vocal cords, all of those can actually be perfectly in tune. And so what happens is that when you're sequencing, you often don't even think about this, but you might be programming some string sounds or a vocal type sound or a brass sound, and you're using the equal tempered system instead of the actual true tuning being perfectly in tune. And so while Hermode tuning doesn't get you perfectly in tune all the time, it's actually a really clever system which gets you a lot closer. So we have three different options here. The main one, classic, is the most universal and the one I recommend starting with, but if you're doing things with sevenths, like in pop and jazz, then you have that mode, or Baroque, which is adaptive and actually with a clear centered pitch, everything is more purely in tune, and as you go out to the fringes of the actual notes, wider ranges, then things get less tuned, so it changes over the whole range. But classic, we'll start there. And so let me show you how this sounds. I've got Alchemy loaded up, and with Alchemy, I wanted to use actually a sawtooth here. And so we're going to just play a chord, and I want to play it with equal tempered first. Well, I just played it with the other one, but here's equal tempered. And then with Hermode tuning. Hear how it's a little bit more laser-like? It almost sounds unnatural in Hermode tuning mode, but what's happening is you're actually hearing it in tune. So we are very used to equal tempered sounds, like a piano sound. We are used to hearing it sound a certain way, just barely out of tune with the third and the fifth, and we put it into Hermode, it actually sounds a little unnatural with certain instruments. But let me load up just so you can hear this. This is really interesting. We'll do a Steinway piano. Here's the equal tempered version. And then here's the Hermode. That may be, for some of you, the first time you've ever actually heard a piano play in tune. Sounds a little bit wrong to me. But we have the ability to switch this into Hermode mode for the entire project. And then here's the key to this. So I've got this song here, and it has like a guitar style emulated patch right here with this Telecaster. It's not a guitar, but it has some distortion on it. And part of the distortion we're used to hearing are the notes that are slightly out of tune with themselves or with the chords they're in. Listen to this for a second. Now over here in my properties, I have, when Hermode is turned on, each of the instruments now have this little checkbox that says no HMT. So I have Hermode turned off for this part because I don't want this guitar type emulated sound to be perfectly laser-like in tune. I want it to be in the equal tempered mode. So I click this to turn it off. Here's with the in Hermode mode. Here's with it off. And So the distortion is a little different when Hermode is turned off. So when are we going to use this? Most of the time we'll do it with string sounds, with brass sounds. Anytime we use vocal patches, we're going to turn this on. Sometimes with synthesizers we want this to be engaged. But with keyboards, which are really the sound we're used to is the equal tempered, we come in and turn off the HMT mode. So keyboards, some synthesizers, other instruments with fixed pitch, and we get a combination of these. So we're used to this. We are used to the two really combining together. We're used to singer being able to sing fully in tune with the instruments in the band, which can't be fully in tune, and they're close enough that it doesn't really matter too much. But what I'm curious is how many of you are doing this? How many of you are actually using this type of tuning mentality, getting everything exactly right in your sequences and in your mixes? So let me know in the comments which of you are actually doing this and which of you, well, perhaps let me know if any of you are hearing about this for the very first time. Okay, that's all I wanted to post today. Hope you're having a good day, and we'll do probably another video or two this week.